Welcome to a sneak peek at the Simple Birth Programme. Let's start by describing what we do and how we do it. At Simple Birth, we focus on 3 steps that will help you to achieve the birth you want. Step 1, learn. Step 2, choose. And step 3, practice. So number 1, learn. Why do you need to learn anything about birth? Is it better to find out about things, or is ignorance bliss, especially when it comes to birth? Well, we think that if you learn some basic physiology of birth, exactly what your body needs during labour and what it's doing, you'll feel much more prepared to make the choices that are right for you. Which brings me on to number 2, choose. We have a choice in birth. Aren't we supposed to just do as we're told? Actually, every mother has a legal right to make each and every decision about her baby's birth, from where it takes place, to who is there, to what intervention she does and doesn't want. Now, some parents might be thinking, that's a bit too much choice, I prefer to hand over to the experts. And we totally understand that. The problem is that once those decisions are made for you, there is no going back, and many mothers look back on their births wishing they had had more control and chosen differently. We want to make sure that you look back and know that every decision was a great one and that it was made by you. That's why we have number 3, practice. We will provide you with specific techniques, practical tips and tuition for use antenatally, in labour and postnatally too, for mum and dad. You will feel completely confident and prepared for your baby's birth and any circumstance that may arise. And lastly, why a simple birth? Too often birth is complicated by unnecessary interventions, time constraints, lack of support and respect for mum and a pressurised NHS. But what happens when we keep things simple? Our techniques can reduce the risk of intervention, shorten the length of labour, help mum feel more in control, effectively reduce pain and provide a much safer birth for mum and baby. So let's get started. And our first step is the mind. Your mind is vast, so vast that we don't even know the half of it, and it stores information as though it were a library with a section on every topic you could ever imagine. We fill our library with any information that we see or hear. So bearing this in mind, what do you think the average person's birth section looks like in the mind library? No wonder most mums and dads react with fear when they think about birth. We're often referring back to horror stories we've been told by friends, awful scenes from film and television, and terrifying stories in newspapers of traumatic birth experiences. We rarely hear or see a positive reference to birth, and if we do, often this gets filtered out because it's so at odds with the rest of the information that we have. So when we think about birth, our mind quickly accesses the library, and the way we feel is a result of the information in there. The great news is that it's completely possible and very simple to take out the information we don't want and to restock our library with positive information on birth so that it looks more like this. So, you've just taken the first step to a simple birth. In the next lesson, we will explain why having a negative birth library could slow or stop labour completely, and just how to remove that negative information and refill it with positive. All that along with breathing techniques, practical tips for labour, how to get the best support from the NHS, and everything you need to know in order to plan a simple, safe birth. Come along to one of our fantastic courses. We have workshops, group and private options to suit every parent's need. Check out the courses tab to find out what's included and to secure your place. We look forward to seeing you there and planning the birth that you want.